TNT Radio. And welcome back. Have you lot who have been following my program for most of the year realised how much happier I feel today that I've got my UK hour back? I'm really enjoying it more than you might imagine. My next guest, Christine Hart, is a journalist, a private investigator, and Sunday Times best-selling author. She was trained by an ex-MI6 officer, then ex-CID officers, and has worked as a private detective for over 35 years. She's also worked at the Daily Mail as an investigator for over a decade. It is my immense pleasure to welcome Christine Hart to the program. Hey, Christine, how are you going?
Hi, Dean. How are you? What's it like over there in sunny Australia?
It is sunny. I don't think it's going to be that sunny on Christmas Day, but as a self-employed person who's about to have 4 days off, I'm relishing that particular thing. So it's good. Okay, now we're going to be talking about Tony Blair. Now he's currently heading off to, or is currently with Benjamin Netanyahu at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yes. There's a lot of bad feeling over here in the UK about it. People see him as a warmonger. They, remember him from Iraq, and they think it's going to be nothing but bad, him going over there. Some journalists think that actually we should give him a chance. And, he helped in Northern Ireland, in Bosnia, other places. I know some Palestinians I've spoken to think that he's a good negotiator. And apparently out in the Middle East, they call him the fox because he's such a good negotiator. So they've got fingers crossed. And a lot of the Palestinians I'm speaking to, they're kind of hoping that there's going to be this arrangement where there's some green belt around the strip, and that they will be allowed to go out there to a safe zone, and Israel will finish off what they're doing, hunting down Hamas, and then they'll be allowed to return. So this is what they're hoping for, but whether Tony Blair will be able to persuade that to happen, who knows?
It'll be very interesting. I mean, my Christmas wish is that, no more innocent women and children are killed on either side. I mean, that would be the ultimate outcome of this. I mean, Israel has a substantial military. I would have loved to have seen them go in there with, boots on and go after Hamas that way, rather than this blanket bombing of Israel, of Palestine, which I found absolutely abhorrent, if I'm honest. And I do understand that they are trying to make a point, but the simple fact is whenever I see dead or injured children, it breaks my heart. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I've been following it, watching them, speaking to some contacts I have in Palestine, and it's really horrific, and the whole world's watching it, and I actually think that the world has changed. It seems to have crossed over a line or a boundary, and something has changed. It started to change with the advent of COVID. We had the lockdowns. That was global. Then we had the vax, that was global. And now this attack on Palestine, that's global because as much is all around the world against it. And a lot of people think it's a sign of end times. It's some kind of Satan has been let loose, this kind of thing. And I do find it very interesting that AI is involved. I know Israel are using this AI called the Gospel, and also, Tony Blair is very into his AI. He wants everybody to have these smart cards to show they've been vaxxed. And his website is full of AI. I mean, that's the only thing he does, really. So I'm wondering if he's going over there just to talk AI. And if you watch the opening scenes of the movie Terminator, you'll see the bulldozers going crunching skulls and bones. Yeah. And that was about AI. And that's what you're seeing now. The bulldozers are going in and they're crunching over the bones. I mean, it's quite spooky and it's quite scary that these two warlords, really, that are going to get together and talk AI. I mean, it's going to be on the table for sure. So what are they going to talk about? What's really going to go down? We'll probably be told one thing and they'll be talking about another.
Yeah, in this country, they've already got a card to prove you've been vaccinated. It's called a Medicare card, and you're probably only likely to need it if you did get vaccinated in the last couple of years. Sorry, that is a tongue-in-cheek joke, but I mean, just the amount of negative health outcomes that we've seen, my own family on one side included, it's just horrific. Now, at the end of the day, could you tell me a bit about that, the Israeli AI system that you mentioned? I mean, how are they using it? I've never heard of that before.
Oh, right. Yes, the AI system they're using, called the Gospel, they're using it to show them how to hunt down Hamas. So the AI is telling them where to drop the bombs and what level of bombing they have to. Yeah, it's all operated. It's the first AI system they've created, this war god, and they've unleashed it on Palestine. That's why I think, in normal wars, you get a certain amount of humanity, you get a certain amount of, you see these old war films and you get, the guys in the trenches, and sometimes they come out at Christmas, and there's a certain amount of, am I going to stick the bayonet in him, or am I going to hold back?
Yeah.
But with this, we're seeing a real obliteration of humanity, and that's the AI in operation, because it doesn't really care, it hasn't got the same feelings. Obviously, it's a robotic system, and that's what we're seeing. And I think it's scaring, it's terrifying, and what we're seeing there will come here, it will spread. I mean, AI is like a spider, and it's like a giant spider has landed on Palestine, and it's going to spread out in a web all over the world. It's going to start laying its eggs, and it's going to erupt in different countries. I mean, who is next? Is it Yemen next for this AI to obliterate children and babies? I mean, it's horrific. You're seeing children literally with their skulls caved in, and their parents are bringing them like this to, and you feel like saying, but your child's dead, and they're bringing it into the A&E trying, oh, help me, and you can see the child's dead. It's like rags in the hands. It's really it's horrific. I think the earth has just it's crossed a boundary in some kind of way, and I think it's through letting in this AI system. But once there's so many warnings on YouTube, people saying, is it going to take over? These people, like the scientist from Google, he's been speaking out about it, saying that, he felt when he was interacting with it, that he was talking to something so super intelligent that it was almost like an alien being.
Wow.
And this is what we've unleashed, and this is what we're seeing being unleashed on Palestine. And that's why it's so horrific, and it's not like a normal war. Normally, children aren't targeted like that.
Yeah, I mean, I always react whenever anything is disproportionate, whenever anything, it just gets to your soul, if you will. The amount of children, innocent children who were targeted. I mean, universities and schools being bombed during the day. Very hard for me to pick a side when one side is doing that and the other side are full of have terrorists. I mean, very difficult. That's why I've been very much on the fence in my commentary in regards to this, except for where children are concerned. I will always attack anybody on either side who is going after kids. Beyond horrific, what you've said explains a lot. You could take parallels in the Ukraine with Putin going to great lengths not to harm that many civilians. I mean, there have been so few who have been harmed, and massive casualties. The Russians advocating maybe 400,000 dead Ukrainians, or injured, dead and injured, I think was the number. But this war, very, very different. It's also taken the focus off the Ukraine a lot. But and I will give accolades to Putin, because it does show how much restraint he has shown when you compare it to this other conflict. And again, if there are minimum casualties who are undeserving, then that's a great outcome.
For sure. It's absolutely horrific. And you have to think about who's wielding it, and, it has to be stopped. And is Blair going to be the one who's going to stop him, this man who's so passionate about AI being the way forward? It seems rather unlikely. And you kind of think, why has the UK given Blair their blessing? Why can't we send, anyone really? Somebody, royalty. We have royalty that can do that kind of thing. The humanitarian visit. I think Blair's the wrong person.
Christine, we're running out of time, but I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I think we could find somebody far better acquainted with that situation than Tony Blair has said. Thank you for your time today, Christine. I very much appreciate it. Have a terrific Christmas. Everybody, same to you. Thank you. We've got Katie Hopkins coming up next. Have a great Christmas. I'll catch you all next Thursday.